Hi there. I'm David Batsoffen, and I host a travel blog called Travel and Things. And every Saturday in the month of October, we've been chatting to Simon McDonnell about action photography. This week sees the last in the series, but fear not, because it's all up on YouTube. And if you missed the first four, there are 5 Saturdays in October. If you've missed the first 4, they're all on my YouTube channel. So you can go back to the beginning and watch if you haven't seen, and if you have seen and you enjoyed and you maybe missed a contact phone number or a contact details, they're all there. After that long and involved greeting, Simon, how are you doing?
Good morning, David. I'm well, thank you, and good morning to all the viewers. It's great to be with you.
And this week, I know we're going out with a bang, so to speak, a passion of yours, NSRI. And maritime, which actually is going to lead into next month, into November's photography, where we're looking at under the water. We're looking at maritime photography or marine photography next week, but with a different photographer. But this week, it's all about you, about the NSRI and what it is that they do. He says, waiting for an answer.
It is
Simon.
indeed. It's
always good if you talk.
Sorry,
back,
I think I lost the signal.
Okay.
No, you only just finished. I think there was a bit of a lag. Okay. What's going on?
As somebody said, conducting a Zoom chat. Yeah, conducting a Zoom chat is a bit like a modern day seance, because you've got to go like, Simon, are you there? Is anybody with you? Can anybody hear me?
Especially on these on the business meetings, where you get to switch off your phone or your mic and your camera. You know, you switch it off and you're listening in. Go and make something to eat and get a drink and hope they don't call you or ask your opinion or something.
I have a friend.
Yeah, sorry, that's what happened here. The Ouija board messed me around.
You know, in the lower corners, you've got your name and my name tied up with our images. I have a friend who changes that, and he'll put in like buffering into there, and then he'll just sit
right
and wait to see if anybody comments.
I love it. I love it.
You can have so much fun. It's like elevator stuff, you know. Alrighty, so we're talking marine, we're talking sea rescue. I know it's a passion of yours. Why? Firstly, why? And then secondly, show us your screen and share some of your images with us.
So the why, I guess, is kind of straightforward. I've been involved with the off-road rescue teams in Joburg and the mountain rescue guys for the last, I don't know, 20 years. And you know, since I was a youngster, I think I was 17 or 18 when I started to volunteer at Benoni Fire Station. It's always been something that I love to do. And when I moved down to the coast 3 or 4 years ago, it was like a natural progression to approach the sea rescue guys and get involved there. And I'm now involved with Station 10. I'm one of the crew members on one of the teams there. And yeah, it's a great thing to be able to go out to sea and help those in need, but it's also great to be able to go to sea in someone else's boat, and you don't have to buy the fuel. So there's lots of advantages, and of course it does lend itself to some tremendous photography or photographic opportunities, more so during the training, of course, than an actual call out. But we do train a lot, so they're a great bunch of people. They've become a second family, and we have a lot of fun at the same time as doing some great work.
I was going to say, are you able, you know, years ago during the 6-day Israeli war, if you remember back 66, 67, I think it was, my parents had been to Israel, and their tour guide had been a soldier, and he was showing them images that he'd taken during the fighting. And they said, how did you get these images? He goes, I shoot with one hand and I take pictures with the other. Now, my question, the only reason I bring that up is, and I think you've preempted me, because you said you take pictures on training missions. You You don't go sort of, let's pull somebody out of the water with one hand, and meanwhile I'm shooting with the other one, getting, beautiful up close and personal pictures.
Yeah.
While the rest of your team is going, not again, Simon. Use both hands to pull the people into the boat.
Quite right, quite right. Well, of course, if you're out at sea, the general rule is that one hand for yourself, one hand for the ship. So if the one hand for yourself has got your camera in, you're not going to be doing much with it. So yeah, it's there is a time and a place, and obviously the cameras are put down when it's critical, and we can set up in the training shots or the training exercises. I can say I'd like to get this shot or that shot, but generally, yeah, a lot of it's luck.
Yeah. Okay.
Like this one. This is luck.
You're a good photographer, Simon. Don't blow the impression that you're giving people. This took hours to set up. It took many, many, many thousands of images before you got this ideal shot.
And I flooded about 12 studio lights. Yeah, they just sink.
It's amazing what overlays will do in Lightroom.
Quite. So when I say luck, I mean, yeah, I'm there. But this, again, the conditions have to be right. And we had gone out to sea on this particular afternoon. You can see from the sun that it's very late in the afternoon. The sea was a little bumpy, and I just happened to be looking to get a silhouette shot, but the light and the wave at the same time it just worked, and it is a lot of luck. But yeah, I mean, people like it, and the colors are good, and there's not much post done here. It is natural light. The sun does get to give you those kind of colors in Simonstown at this time of year. So yeah, I do like that one.
It's a stunning image. It really is.
Yeah. So again, talking about light and the way it plays on the water, here you can see, I mean, you have lots of light coming through that wave as the guys launch. This is, I think, Station 18 around at Melkbos. And I just love the fact that the light coming through the waves and the fact that the guys are well lit. It just works, So one of the, well, thankfully not so common now with the removal a lot of the octopus traps from our bay. Before, sort of 2 years ago, there were regular calls for whales that were entangled in the gear, and so this is not an exercise. This whale is entrapped, and the chap on the front of the Gemini there is Mike Mayo, who heads up the South African Whale Disentanglement Network, which is a group of scientists and obviously sea rescue volunteers that primarily they're primarily responsible for freeing entangled animals, and they have these highly specialized tools that enable them to do that without harming the animal in any way. And of course, there's different blades for different types of wrap and different ropes. This particular animal, you can see in the background, the boat had got caught up in their gear, and we were called out. And this is just about over. They've just about cut the animal free. It's inherently dangerous work. The animals do thrash about, and if you get hit by a whale tail, it could be fatal. I think 2 years ago, a Canadian rescuer was killed. So the guys are extremely careful and well trained. So this is what's happening there. I think there's a series. So yeah, we call this the final cut. You can see the fishermen in the background there, getting the last of the lines off, a bit of the blow from the whale there, and the jubilation once the guys realize that the animal is free. I like it because here you can see that the crew take a lot of flack from the public. You know, a lot of the times that they were being castigated for putting the traps down, and it's their gear and they're killing the whales and. But you can see, or I thought it was nice that you can see that they're just as happy to see the whale get away. It wasn't all, it's not always about their fault. They do this for a living, and this is how they feed their families. So I was pleased to see that they were happy that we could get the whale freed. And this one then just, when the whale finally got to dive and leave the scene, I managed to capture just a whale tail with the team there, and I thought that worked quite nicely.
Saying goodbye and thank you. Or to quote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. To quote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, goodbye and thanks for all the fish.
Thanks for all the fish.
Except
absolutely,
whales don't eat fish.
Yeah, cool. All right. Again, the light through the wave. I love it. I think it's one of the highlights for me is being able to get these shots and have that amazing light playing on the water.
Simon, do we know who Brenda is? The boat is called.
I don't. Yeah. So. I don't, but I can pretty much guarantee that the Station 18 crews will know who Brenda was. Obviously, it's been a bequest that someone has left in their will, and that money has bought this boat. So most of the yachts at Station 10, we have the Spirit of Saf Marine 3, our big boat, and the Spirit of Surf Ski 2. So these are boats that are bought with funds that are raised by the surf skiers, and of course by Saf Marine. They bought our boats. Our new boat will be named by somebody. But yeah, these are people that have left money to buy the boats. Personally, I don't know Brenda.
All right.
Right. Again, the light. I just love this, and the layers. I think for me, the layers here are what made the shot. That I could get the guys behind the wave. It's obviously silhouetted. It was quite late in the afternoon. They were coming in from an exercise, but I just like the fact that there's a lot of layers and a lot of going on here.
There are indeed. Just looking at this particular image with all the waves and the water, both in the foreground and in the far distance. Given a chance, if somebody said to you, "We'll put you on one of the deadliest catch boats, crab boats," would you go crabbing for 3 months and take pictures?
I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would go out on the crab boats. They are. I think I read somewhere that it is the most dangerous career in the world. That those guys have a very short life expectancy. But that being said, if you offered me a 3-month trip to the Antarctic, I would go without any hesitation.
You wouldn't.
I'd be on the dock before I'd finish reading the letter.
Fair enough. Okay, moving on.
Moving on. Okay, so the rescue runners. So these are wave riders, jet skis that most people will know, and you can grab some tremendous action shots with these. They're used primarily by the stations that do surf rescue. So sea rescue in this country, we have different types of station. We have the deep water stations, surf stations. They're like satellite stations, and primarily they will be looking at keeping holidaymakers in the surf safe. You're not going to take a large rescue boat, a deep water rescue boat, into the surf. And the same Geminis. They're inshore rescue boats, but not all of them are ideal in the surf. So they use the smaller ones and these skis, the rescue runners for that. These are being phased out now. The Sea Rescue and a few local manufacturers have redesigned the runners, and they've incorporated the inflatable. So you have what's called the jet rib now. So we have the sponsons or the pontoons that you have on the Geminis around a rib, around a jet ski, and that's a South African design, but proving to be extremely popular, and that will phase out all of these type of rescue runners. I think I'll have a pic of a rescue runner, of a jet rib a bit later. But here again, in the waves, the action is in the waves. You can see that it's that the guy's launching, plenty of foam around, and an easy shot to get from the beach. So anybody can get this just by going to the stations that have them and shooting from the beach. You'll grab these kind of shots.
Simon, the station that is at the V&A, firstly, is that still there? And where do they, if they are still there, where is their sort of point, or what are they predominantly used for?
Sorry, David, I lost you on the first part of the question. Could you just repeat it?
There's an NSRI station, or there was, at the V&A waterfront. So
all right, yeah.
Where do they service?
So that's Table Bay, that's Rescue 3 or Station 3. They would service obviously the Cape waters. They have a deep water boat that will go also 40 miles out to sea from Cape Town. So, well, I say 40 miles, they'll go as far as they need to go. But they'd have to.
But they have the capability
to go further than that.
Okay.
They have the capability, and they will go that far. So yeah, that's a deep water station. So the waters around the Cape, around the V&A, they're covered with a smaller boat by the Gemini, but their deep water boat will cover south of Cape Town. Yeah.
All right. Well, another nice action shot getting through the waves.
Yeah, this is Station 16, another surf launching station. They launch through the surf. This is slightly bigger than the rescue runner, obviously. Kind of deceptive, these photos. They look like so much action. There's so much speed. It's not always what you see. They've only just launched. I think I'm standing on the beach and I wasn't zoomed in that much. So you can see the size of the wave. It's not very big, but the power of the wave and the spray that comes off, it does make for a great photo. The next in the sequence of these photos I've got, you can't even see the crew. You can just see the self-righting gear with the 16. That's all you see is foam and the 16, and it makes for a great photo, but it's a little deceptive. They're not really going smashing through the wave. They're really just sitting there waiting for the wave to come over them, and then they power out of there. Another shot of the rescue runner. Again, here I'm panning. So you've got the crew, and you've got the little board that they trail behind it to pick up a patient or a victim in the surf. And the panning shots, well, I don't think they work as well at sea as they do at a racetrack, because, well, I think the wave, you like to get the action in the wave, but this is what we wanted to get. So you can get the panning shots with the faster moving boats. The bigger boats slower, but different kinds of action from them. I think again, just to talk a little bit about the challenges here with shooting sea rescue. Obviously, the salt water is the enemy of anything technological, but the cameras don't like salt. You know that I shoot with Canon, and they're rugged, but you don't want to be changing lenses and what have you on the beach. The smallest grain of sand can do huge amounts of money. So damage and cost you huge amounts of money. So I think one of the very first things you've got to realize is that take a camera with a lens and don't change. Just stick with it. If you have two bodies and want to take two lenses, that's the way to go. But in this kind of environment, whether you're on a boat or on the beach, you don't want to be opening up your cameras or exposing.
And even if you think it's safe, it's not.
To too much.
Yeah.
It's never safe.
Never safe.
The wind picks up sand, and it's a nightmare. So, and I always get back and rinse my or wash off the salt water with a damp cloth, or any salt residue, every time I get back from a shoot like this.
Yeah.
You know, if you leave it for even 24 hours, you'll start to see the effects, and they are harsh, even on the best cameras.
Yep.
The salt takes no prisoners. Yeah, this is that jet rib that I mentioned. So that's it's the Wave Runner. It's this type of vehicle, but with the integrated rib around it. So it's proving pretty popular. It's a very stable platform. I said that the panning doesn't always work, but here I think it does.
It does.
You've got the spray, which is gone, but I've still got the Rescue 16 in focus there.
And the spirit of Sharon, whoever Sharon was.
Yeah, Sharon. We have a Sharon on our crew, but I'd be amazed if she was funding someone else's boat. I'll have to talk to her. She's one of our coxswains. So that I think is all the photos from this side. I know you said we should have a 15-minute chat. I think we're getting up there. I don't know if you have any questions.
For people who want to get involved in NSRI, Simon, let's use this opportunity to talk about the work that NSRI do, how they are funded. I think I mentioned to you when we did the very first talk at the beginning of October that I'd tried to get involved in NSRI when I lived in Port Elizabeth, and then discovered that part of their training is to fall off the back of one of their boats at speed, and I decided just to give a donation rather than lend my body to the waves, because coming off a boat, people don't realize water is like concrete, and specifically if you're going fast, the faster you go, the harder it becomes, and it's not easy. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to do yourself an injury. So my question, as I said starting out, is how do people get involved? Can they just donate? And if so, do they donate to NSRI in general, or can they donate to a specific station?
So all very good questions, David, and yeah, it's an entirely volunteer-driven organization. All the crews are volunteers. We have some head office staff that are full-time, but everything that we do is on donor funds. And well, there's to answer one question that you asked is how do they do that? Just log on to www.nsri.org.za, and there's a page there that will talk you through it. Or you can make a phone call to head office. They have a fundraising department that is very effective and keeps us going. But you could do anything from a monthly donation to adding something into your will and leaving a bequest and so on. But you can donate to a station or to the organization as a whole. If you wanted to donate to your local station, no one's going to say, no, you can't do that. I mean, that's we get quite a lot of people that will, if we might go out and do some scattering of ashes, for instance, and the family would leave something for the station. But yeah, it's a great organization to be part of. Some of the donations could win you some big prizes. I think that they have a 10,000 Rand monthly draw for people that are donating. Once a year, one of the sponsors is Mitsubishi, and they give away 2 vehicles, not just one. You get 2 vehicles. I think the tickets for that are like 500 Rand, but it's one hell of a prize.
It is indeed.
And that's very popular. So yeah, anyone who's keen, just log on to the site, nsri.org.za, or pop into your local station. If there's a station close by, pop in and see your station commander, and they'll be more than happy to help. To join up locally, speak to your station commander again, pop in when the guys are doing training. Best not go when they're launching for a rescue. No one's going to be too interested in talking to you. all of the stations
Okay.
train on a regular basis, at least once a week, and they'll be happy to. And not just for seagoing crew. You can also join as shore crew. They need people to drive the vehicles. They need people to man the radios at the base. They need people to help launch the boats with the winches and what have you. So even if you really don't want to go to sea, it's a worthwhile organization to become part of, just from a time point of view. If you can just give time, they'll always find something for you to do.
Great stuff. Simon, once again, thank you so much for giving of your time for the whole month of October, spending every Saturday morning with me, chatting action photography of one sort or another. It was most enlightening for me, and I do hope for my viewers as well. And look forward to chatting to you again in 2021.
It's been great, David. It's been good to catch up with you and to share a laugh, or seven laughs a day. We can't do these things without laughing. But yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Great to see you, and I look forward to the next one.
Great stuff. Simon McDonnell, who was teaching us or giving us masterclasses in action photography in October. Simon, once again, thanks so much for joining me here on In Conversation With.
All the best, David.